Hey guys, in this video we're going to be talking about what to do in those rare, maybe not so rare these days, situations where you want to video yourself but you do not have a device with a fully articulating screen to do so. Like in the case of this, the X-T3. Now I know a lot of you are looking at the X-T3 right now, or the X-T2, or the X-T20, or the XE2, or whatever it may be device, or even some of the Sony devices, and thinking those would work really well for being able to film myself. Some of you are thinking about starting YouTube channels, or some of you are starting to use your nice mirrorless cameras to do video calls with the live video features that they offer. And it would be extremely helpful and beneficial for you to be able to see yourself. And so in all of those situations, for all those situations, I want to talk about what options you have. We're going to talk about 3 ways that you can see yourself when you're videoing yourself without help. And the first way, the most obvious probably way, and the cheapest, assuming you have a smartphone, it's free to just download the Fuji camera device to be able to tether and use that as your monitor. And I've used this approach for years. I've done that for a long time. One thing to keep in mind is that if you are setting up a scenario where you're videoing yourself on a regular basis, say if you're gonna start a vlog or a YouTube channel and you plan to regularly video yourself, it can be one of the most difficult things, or one of the things that will keep you from doing it the most, is if you've got a time-consuming setup. What I would encourage you to do right from the beginning is to create repeatable processes and give yourself as painless as possible a setup that will much more enhance the likelihood that you will film content on a continual basis. And anyone who's been doing YouTube for a long time will say the single most important aspect of growing a channel, having a channel, is being consistent, is just doing it at a regular basis. So that is why I want to talk about efficiency along with each one of these methods. So like I said, first method, the smartphone. Let's look at what that entails. So I'm not going to show you how to pair and how to set it up the first time, which is a little bit of a process in and of itself. We're not going to do that because we're going to assume that this is the second, third time. This is the time. This is every time after the first time when you're trying to be quick and efficient. We're going to count the number of steps it takes. So the first step is to launch the Fuji camera app, and then on your device, your X-T3 or whatever device. Now the thing to remember here is, it drives me a little bit crazy, the usability here. The camera app is, it will allow you to do live photograph, live video, but also transfer photos. But for whatever reason, the place that Fuji chose to stick it is in the shooting settings, which makes no sense because it's not centric to photography. But I just try to remember that it's the last setting in the shooting settings, in the photography little camera icon settings, page 2, the very end, wireless communication. Go into wireless communication. So that's, what is that? Step 2, because we've already launched the app here. After you've done that, you need to go to your Wi-Fi settings. Step 3, connect to Wi-Fi signal. Once that's connected, go back to the app. Sometimes this takes a minute, and sometimes this just doesn't work. And when that's the case, then I don't know, do we add that as steps? I'm not sure. I'm going to go ahead and kill the camera app. We're going to reconnect to the Fujifilm Wi-Fi signal. Okay, step 5, hit OK back on the camera. And now we are connected. You can see my face there. Change the focus point, change it to video, step 6, because it always defaults to camera. Step 7 is to have this ready. This little device is a little mount for your smartphone, and I mount it to this little tiny ball head tripod thing. It needs to be able to go into vertical orientation though, and that's one frustrating thing about this camera app, is it will only come in vertical mode. You can't switch to a horizontal mode, which is very frustrating when you're trying to see yourself. So that is probably one of the biggest cons about this setup, is that you can't see yourself in that much detail, unfortunately. So we'll attach this step, what are we at, 8, 7 or 8? I'm losing track. So yeah, 8 steps. I'm gonna do it all again this time. I'm gonna set my stopwatch on this other device here and time it, see how long it takes. Stopwatch. I can't actually crack my knuckles. I'll put some cracking knuckle sounds in the audio. On your mark, get set, go. Camera and stop. And we are at 1 minute 7 seconds. So that was not super straightforward. A lot of steps and about a minute to set up when I was rushing, going as fast as I can. So that was, it worked. And in a pinch that can work. It can get frustrating, and especially we didn't run into any issues that time, luckily. Everything connected fine. But in my experience, probably 1 in every 3 tries, it just doesn't work and I have to restart everything and try it again. But yeah, so it's kind of a frustrating, little bit kludgy of a system for seeing yourself, but it works. So that's solution 1, but before I get into solutions 2 and 3, I do want to thank our sponsor. This episode is kindly brought to you by our friends at Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning platform that we use, that I've used extensively to help to improve my abilities in many areas. They offer classes in animation, creative writing, film and video, fine art, graphic design, illustration, music, photography, UX, UI design, web development, and many other things. But the class that really made an impact on me recently was one by Emma Gannon, who is an author, a podcaster, broadcaster. Her class on unlocking your potential, which is all about self-sabotage and identifying ways that we get in our own way. Things like perfectionism, procrastination, the inner critic, but also the fear of self-promotion. Now, 2 of those 4 things I really struggle with, and I bet most of you can also identify with one of those. I bet there's a lot of you that are thinking, I'd really like to finish my photo book, or I'd really like to start a YouTube channel. Chances are, if you're watching this video, that you are engaging in self-sabotage in some way or another. I'm afraid of promoting myself, and that's a weird thing to say as a YouTuber, but it took me a whole year of doing this channel, a concerted effort, a really big part of my life. It was a year before I told anybody in my personal life that I was even doing it, because I was so afraid of that self-promotion with people that I love. This lesson was liberating, and I just wish I'd had it 4 years ago when I started this channel, as well as a lot of other creative projects. So if you're interested in getting started with boosting your creativity for less than $10 a month, by the way, go ahead and register with the link below. The first 1,000 people will get 2 months for free. Let me show you an even easier process. And this is actually the one that I use today still, because I shoot with the X-T3 all the time, especially for my B cam. And the solution that I have that I absolutely love, so dead simple, requires, I don't know, 1-2 steps, is this little guy right here. The cam mirror is just a little bracket placed on a hot shoe mount with a mirror, and the steps, they work like this. Turn your camera on. Does that count as a step? We're not going to count that as a step, but it's to bring your flip screen out like this, articulated about right there. So that's step 1. Step 2 is to mount the bracket. Step 3 is to, as I said, reposition the mirror, and there you have it, you guys. As simple a solution as you could get, 2 steps, and I can see myself just fine. Everything is reversed, but you know, that is certainly not the end of the world. So I use that all the time. It works great. Another thing that Cam Mirror comes shipped with is an extra bracket for mounting a mini shotgun mic as well, because it does take up the hot shoe. So for those of you even wanting to take this around and vlog with it, I've done that. That works great too. So this is probably a very cheap, very quick setup, the easiest to repeat of the 3 options I'm going to talk about, and one that I heartily recommend. But we still have to time it just to prove how long it takes. So the last one took 1 minute and 7 seconds to do the little smartphone. So let's see how long it takes to do our little cam mirror approach here. Reset here. Let's mess this all up so we simulate it being in a bag. Turn the camera off. Okay. Ready, go. And we are done. 27.33 seconds. Way easier. All right. Our last solution you may have seen just sitting here is something that someone sent to me. Now, I get requests all the time. I wake up in the morning and I have one or two emails sitting in my inbox from companies, mostly out of China, who would like me to review their gear, their stuff. And that's, most of those I do respond and cordially say no thanks. Or when it does have anything to do with photography, often I will send back a canned response that says, you can send it to me. I don't promise anything. I don't promise I'll do a review at all. I don't promise I'll say nice things at all. I don't promise that I will allow you to see the video before I release it. And again, there may not be a video at all. I also don't promise to send it back if I don't use it. I don't promise anything, but if you want to send it, you can. So that's what I tell everybody. I tell them the same thing. And people still send stuff. And this is one that we got sent. Now, and this is the R5, the DesView. DesView? They always have these random names. And this is a 4K 3D LUT HDR monitor, I guess. I don't know if this is good or not. I'm not recommending it yet. I haven't even touched it. I don't even know how much it costs. I will, be nice to DesView and put the link to whatever link they want me to put down below in case you're interested. But I am in no way promoting this, just showing you that there is one other option for being able to film yourself. And these guys are awesome and allowed us to make this happen. So let's see what the DesView does for us. I may need to consult this quick start guide, though in my experience, those aren't always super helpful. So here we have the actual device. Not really trying to do an unboxing. Feels fairly plastically, but very, very lightweight. What else we got in here? No battery. It doesn't ship with a battery, but they were kind enough to send that. So, oh look, it has one of those little bracket things I was talking about. This one is a little more stubby than most, but that's cool because that allows us to mount it to the top of the camera. The box doesn't come with a battery, but they did ship this little battery, generic, but this is a standard light battery. I've got 8 of these for my little LED lights. So it's just a standard battery that plugs in the back. It turns on automatically. This is super, turning into an unboxing, which I didn't necessarily want. So let's just get this plugged in and see where we're at. So the X-T3 has a mini HDMI, and fortunately, they have sent us a mini HDMI packaged with the device. Has an in and out and a DC in. That's nice, and DC in. Does it have a power cable though? Oh, that's what this is. DC in, and it's got a D-tap. So this is concerning. There's no way to tighten this little guy here unless you kind of have to have a Allen wrench, which they don't ship with one, but it looks like you'll have to have an Allen wrench to tighten the yaw. What is that? The pitch, which it doesn't have. So that's not excellent. But let's just try to get a signal first off. Oh, not out. That's why. You have to be smarter than the device. Harder and harder these days. Okay. Oh, and there we go. So that was actually way less painful than I thought it would be. This is cool. And it's big and bright. I don't know what this is, a 4-inch, let's go 5.5-inch screen. Looks pretty good, very detailed, more than what I'm used to. I'm realizing I need a haircut in a major way. I think just 6 steps, so not too bad. Let's take it all apart, get our stopwatch going, reset. On your mark, get set, go. All right, well that was, I do have, in fairness, that was only the second time I've done that whole process. I have a lot more experience with this one, but still 38 seconds, that's not too shabby. And still way, way better than the Fuji app. So, I mean, if you can afford it, and if you don't mind dealing with the battery, I don't know why I haven't been using this the whole time. Probably because for me, there's a lot of benefit to not having a lot of cables, a lot of batteries to worry about. To go analog for me, when it's this easy, it's worth it. However, since I do have my X-T3 most of the time these days, just my, whoops. Since my X-T3 these days is often just a B camera, they're off to the left of my A cam, which is the X-T4. Maybe I will just plug this in and let it sit there on top and utilize something like that. And that might just work out well. So, but that's it, guys. I hope that you found something here that was beneficial, especially those of you who are looking to start your own YouTube channel, which I totally encourage you to do. It has really, it really has done a lot for us in our photography, improving us. Not only that, but it's just become another source of income, especially during these times. That's not a bad thing. So I encourage you to do so. If you do want to get into the YouTubes though, and look at doing some of this more, I have a 3-part series that I recorded about 1.5 years ago. I'm really proud of that series. It will walk you through the pros and cons of being a YouTuber. The first episode is actually it's pretty harsh, it's pretty negative about all of the shortcomings, all the things that really just suck about being a YouTuber. But after that, it gets better. So I encourage you to watch that 3-part series if this is something that you're looking at doing more. But either way, I really hope that you enjoyed this episode, that you found something valuable and beneficial to you. I wish you all the best in your photography and your videography. Remember to do some good with your skills, and we'll talk to you again real soon.